Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of this 6-part mini-series. We're already in episode 4, and I've got a lot of amazing stuff coming up, and yeah, I think this will be really, really exciting. So without further ado, let's just get right into things. First of all, it's for creators, it's for coaches, it's for people that want to build impact and really transform people's lives, just like, you all know. If you skipped to this episode, go back in the description. You can go to the first episode and watch all of them, because doing this in a step-by-step fashion is where you're going to get the most value. Okay, guys? So let's get right into things. So this episode is going to be about authority positioning. So fuck the vanity metrics and build a cult-like audience of superfans. Funny thing is, I worked with someone that had 800,000 followers on Instagram and made barely any income from it. Basically no income. The problem wasn't that he didn't post enough or didn't send enough DMs or didn't communicate his offer enough. The problem was that he built a surface level audience. So he created a lot of, entertaining content, a lot of comedy, and people followed him purely because of that and never really wanted any further depth. They never wanted to improve their physique. They never wanted to make a change in their lives. And his content was basically misaligned from his offer. And the reasoning is because he was focused on the vanity metrics. He really wanted to always chase new followers, always chase more views. And the honest truth is that it doesn't matter. It truly doesn't matter. Someone that just joined Creatr.One like 20 days ago made $8,000 in 17 days, cash collected from 300 followers. So you don't need a lot of followers in order to make a lot of money and make a lot of impact and really have perfect fit dream clients. So here is what is important. You need to build content with purpose and focus on trust and authority. Now, what is the difference between authority and trust, right? Let's get into things. So authority is, can I get results from this person? Does the system work? Can this work for me too? So, for example, can I get results? Posting testimonials, posting the results from your program. Does the system work, right? Give explanations on why you have your unique mechanism, on why it's better than everything else they've seen. And finally, can this work for me too? The funny thing is, when you have testimonials, the only testimonials that actually impacts your viewers are the testimonials that can relate exactly to their situation. For example, you could be making content about growing your fitness coaching business, as an example. And you could show, and let's say a fitness coach follows you, but you've got a testimonial of a different coach that isn't in that niche. No matter if the testimonial is making them $100,000 in 2 days, it doesn't matter, because it doesn't relate to their unique situation, which is going to answer this third question. Can this work for me too? So basically, to solve this, you need to post your results. You need to post your unique mechanism and give explanation on why that unique mechanism is the best. And then you need to post testimonials or post results based on specific situations so people can relate to that. So let's get into trust. Do I vibe with the creator? Do I picture myself in the same shoes? Do I feel a connection? Now, these are all things that storytelling and sharing your beliefs is going to solve, okay? And as you know, we've covered that in previous episodes on the S pillars. Again, go back to previous episodes if you haven't watched that. But that's solve, so giving educational belief shifts, sharing your values, selling, so posting testimonials, authority-based content, and then supply, where you basically send them assets that goes deeper in the funnel. So you might be asking yourself, how do I know if I'm building trust or authority from my page? So obviously conversations, right? If you're having conversations frequently with people that fit your ideal avatar, that is a very good sign. People interested in your methods, right? People that ask you questions, comments, saves, people taking action on your call to actions, and obviously seeing if they're a good fit from there. But basically, if you're frequently getting good engagement, that means you're doing the right thing. Sometimes I see videos from people that get millions of views and they barely have any comments, they barely have interaction, and that is a really good sign that you've got a surface level audience, that people don't really care. Followers, likes, and views are bullshit. That's the honest truth. Followers, likes, and views are bullshit. Really dig deep into that. They don't matter. The only thing that matters is getting the right views and the right followers and the right likes from the right people. And doing that means niching down and creating a specific pocket for who you can help. That automatically is going to get less views than broader content that can serve everyone. Now, there's a lot of nuance to this, so take everything that I'm saying with a grain of salt because it depends on your unique situation. So let's get into how to get action takers only, because a lot of people get a bunch of conversations started, send a bunch of, messages, get a bunch of emails collected, but they don't get action takers. They get freebie seekers, people that waste their time, hop on sales calls, get a bunch of free value, and never end up buying. So this is going to be crucial for a lot of you watching. So you need to focus on solving problems. That is basically focus on solving problems with your content that is affecting your audience right now. I need to change actually the formatting of this because relevance creates connection. A connection is what drives engagement, trust, ultimately action like signing up to your email list, buying, or sharing. Because I could make a video how to get to your first $1 million, but it doesn't really target a pain problem right at this second. But if I make a video saying, this is how you hire your first employee in order to leverage your time, all of a sudden I'm actually targeting this exact problem that people could be facing, and that gets action takers. People only care about urgent pain points, right? They don't give a shit about what's happening tomorrow or in a week from now. They care about what's happening today. So if they're struggling with something in this exact moment, that's going to allow them to take action because it's a pain that they feel right at this second. Future problems feel abstract, optional, and easy to ignore, okay? Attention spans are short. People, there's probably many of you guys watching this where you got a free product or you got a video and you saved it somewhere or you've got it open on a tab, but you never end up going through that exact thing. You never end up going through the free resource because it doesn't hit a pain problem that is affecting your life right now. For example, 3 ways to improve your content. You might be like, okay, cool, this guy seems awesome. I'll save this free product or this video and put it in my backlog. But you never end up going through it because it doesn't go through a specific pain problem. So think about that. Clear problems and clear solutions is what allows your audience to take action. So vague issues like someday you'll want to improve your habits sound generic and doesn't really have any power to them. But clear problems like you're overwhelmed so you can't finish your to-do list sounds sharp and makes the solution more necessary and actionable in this second. Fourth, trust is built when people feel seen. When you can describe someone's exact situation that they're in, they wake up, they don't have a to-do list, they don't know what they should be focusing on, and that's where you feel stuck. Now, all of a sudden, you're building connection. And number 5, momentum matters. When your audience gets small wins on immediate problems, they build trust and stick around for future content. So think about that for a second. If you can build a lot of YouTube videos about specific problems, and they constantly get those problems solved from you over and over again, they're going to build immense trust with you and they're going to buy from you. Okay? So if your content is too futuristic or theoretical, people might not nod along. They won't change anything, and no change means no loyalty. Ideally, you need to impregnate your audience with your ideas prior to them even buying from you. There needs to be trust already built. Talk about today's problems. They listen today, they act today, and they trust you tomorrow. Getting more engagement. So this is going to be crucial. And if you DM me the word shift or shifts on Instagram, I will send over this document for you to go through, okay? Or this specific section here, right? So just DM me the word shifts or shift on Instagram. My Instagram is in the description, and I'll send over these 10 frameworks, okay? So what is this going to do? We talked about getting action takers. We talked about you should focus on specific content to build trust and authority. But what are some practical things that we can do to get more engagement and get those eyeballs? Well, we use the 10 frameworks, okay? So we're going to have specific numbers in our content. I'm not going to go through all the examples because, again, if you DM me the word shift on Instagram, it's going to go in depth. But you want to have specific numbers in your content to build attention. For example, I sent 322 cold emails, or after 397 days, those are good hooks that you can open up your videos with because it opens a loop that people want to know more about. Pattern interrupts, so visual, audio, or speech pattern interrupts. Negativity bias is big. I do this all the time, right? Stop doing X and do Y. Or you're going to achieve great things compared to you will never hit rock bottom again. The second one is way more persuasive and way more enticing to watch. Color your target audience, right? If you're a coach, creator, this is used for ads very much. Or if you're in your 20s, think about this. That could be a hook. Depending on your exact audience and who you want to help. Problem call out. This is big. If you suck at getting responses from cold DMs, then these are the 3 frameworks that no one told me about that changed my life as a creator. That would be a good hook. Okay? Active voice. So this implies that there's a story. So for example, a dog was walking down the street, right? That's something that is, the dog chased the ball, right? I looked around, I didn't know what was happening, and I realized that the dog was actually chasing a Pokemon ball. I don't know, something random, right? When you use active voice, you get people enticed into a story. Most books use an active voice, okay? It builds people into a narrative. 7, confidence and conviction. If you say things like, sometimes you can do X and sometimes you can do Y, it doesn't sound very confident and you don't have that authoritative, confident voice. Now, there's always going to be nuance to everything that you say because there's always nuance to everything, right? If I say like, everyone should hit the gym 3 times a week, there might be a case where someone has some, physical condition where they simply can't go to the gym 3 times a week. But if I say everyone on planet Earth has to work out, then there might be some comments, there might be some engagement. Oh, my mother, she's in a wheelchair and she can't work out, X, Y, and Z. So, but if you do this, you're going to get more views, you're going to get more attention because you're picking a side. 8, potential benefits. So the opposite of calling out a problem is talking about a dream state. So like many people do this with lifestyle and B-roll, right? They show, them hopping in a fresh new Porsche out in Bali. Bali is probably not the best place to drive a Porsche, but you get the point, right? Getting in a nice Porsche, picking up your girlfriend, going to a nice steak dinner, getting back and getting to work. Like that would be a dream state, right? With an amazing mansion. Anyway, so 9 is social proof. When you flex your results or credentials, people automatically assume that you know more than them. And this works 100% better when it isn't viewed as a flex. So for example, let's say you're out having coffee and you drive a nice car. You can put the car keys on the table, take a photo, maybe do a poll on your story on Instagram, and now all of a sudden you're flexing your results without them viewing it as a flex because it's just casual for you. Of course, there's better ways to do this, but that's just something to keep in mind. Warning and caution. When you tell people, hey, let me think of something right now. I was stuck in a massive headache once I started to create content daily, and this is why. All of a sudden, you're warning people from doing daily posts, and people are like wanting to know more. So that is the 10 frameworks for capturing attention. Again, DM me the word shifts on Instagram and I will send over this document. So let's build a one identity. Okay, so this is a term that I coined for building a visual identity or a just recognizable identity for people to find you on, right? And that's for Instagram specifically. Of course, this goes upon your whole entire branding. Your profile is your sales page. So when you have a specific look, a specific mood to your page, you build trust, you build, people recognize you for that. And that's what's powerful. For example, this video right now, I've got the same filter that I've got on my Instagram content. And everywhere else, I've got the exact same shade of yellow here than on my Instagram content. And that builds a lot of recognizability. I don't even know if that's a word, but people remember that and they notice that. And that's powerful. So let's get into things that you can implement. So you need to choose a consistent color palette. For example, for me, I've got a moody LUT that's kind of got this greenish tone to it, and then I've got this yellow color, and then, the usual black and white. Use them for, posts, stories, highlights, graphics, reels, whatever. Don't introduce random colors. Like, imagine how ugly it would be if I just included a bright red color on one of my reels. It would look ugly as fuck. Like, truly ugly. Like, people will be blown away by how ugly that looks. So don't do that. Pick a signature font. So for me, I'm not going to disclose my custom font, but I've got more of a simple, non-sans serif font, and then I've got a serif font because it complements them quite well. So I always like to do serif and sans serif because they complement each other well, but I always would recommend 2 fonts, okay? Sometimes I use a third, but that's not really as important. And again, use it across all of your media. Create templates, right? I've got templates for my carousels. I've got templates that I use for my reels. They're all the same. Announcements, quotes, testimonials, all of that stuff. It just speeds up your content creation and makes your page look more cohesive and put together. Design a recognizable logo or mark. Now, this isn't very important, to be honest, because your personal brand doesn't necessarily need it. But for example, for Creatr.One, we've just got a simple C. And sometimes when I'm doing a promotional story, I will include that as a sticker on my story because it builds that identity. 5, use a signature style. This is kind of, again, what I mentioned before. Are you kind of bright? Are you moody? Are you colorful? I'm kind of minimal and moody. Mine is very darker almost. My videos always look dark. The highlights aren't really pushed out that much. And I like that look. Stick to 1 or 2 types of backgrounds. For example, for me, I sit at my desk and I've got other places that I record, but it's pretty similar and I don't mind that. Consistent lighting and editing style, like I mentioned. Another one that's big is create a branded story highlight system. So for me, I've just got 3. I'll be honest, they can be way better than this, but you should do that as well. Stay consistent with your personal style. Outfit colors, right? Some people even have things in their outfit that stands out to their brand. One guy, Dan Martell, I think his name is Dan Martell. He always wears a light blue t-shirt on most of his content, a light blue t-shirt. So you can even have clothing that represents your brand. Okay? So maybe you always wear a hat, glasses, or a certain accessory. Visual consistency, with the look and the way that you portray your content is just important as graphics, etc. Keep a consistent layout, right? You can do like a checkerboard style where you do carousel, reel, static post, quote graphic, and then repeat that. Or you can do reel, carousel. It's up to you, but that can create a really cool look. Personally, I kind of stick to that, but not really. Consistent lighting, right? No, I went over that. You just want your feed to flow. Add visual signatures in your reels. Maybe you can have a specific effect that you use to open it. For example, with me, I'm using effects that no one is using. I'm using certain sounds that no one is using. Like, you need to get that granular if you want to stand out. Some people say specific words in their videos that is unique to them. Okay, so 10 is kind of one that combines everything together, is create a little bit of a visual mood board. Like, think about images. I always like to go on Pinterest for this. Create a mood board of things that you enjoy, things that you like. And from that, you can, come up with a style from there. Maybe you can even feed it to ChatGPT to come up with the visual style for you. But that's what you can do, and it's sick. Okay? So the key idea is a strong visual identity is boringly consistent. So when you stay repetitive and with style, colors, and structure, it becomes unforgettable. And a lot of you guys stick to one style for like a week and then change it up. And that's not what you want to do. Sure, you can always improve your style as you go along, but don't start with a green aesthetic and then go to red and then go to blue. Like, just stick with it. For example, for me, I've stuck with this for quite a while now. It's just green, like green undertones with yellow. So think about that. So just to give you even more value on this video, here's tools that I use to create content. I just create content with my iPhone 15 Pro. I use Blackmagic camera app and specific LUTs to allow me to shoot cinematically. If you want to get more information about that, just DM me the word LUTs on Instagram and I can send over something. A Joby GorillaPod stand. So that's something that I'm recording with right now. It gives me lots of flexibility with how I can record things. I edit on Premiere Pro. I've got a cheap softbox light straight off Amazon that helps me light these videos. I've got a Zoom directional mic. This is what I'm holding right now. I'll be honest, guys, this is fucking horrible. I need to get a proper stand so I can do it that I don't have to hold it. But I'm too lazy. I would recommend that you guys get a DJI mic too. You can just clip it on there. Looks very sick. And yeah, don't overcomplicate things. So see you guys in episode 5, okay? Going over how to run ads, specifically how to do it, higher level systems on how to find your top 1% perfect fit dream clients. So I hope this was valuable. If you want to skip all the BS and just work with me specifically and join Creatr.One, where we'll take your business, grow your personal brand, and scale to 20K a month and build full autonomy in your life. So see you guys in the next episode. Don't wait for autonomy, build it.